guys and gals, Neri here from Drake Wing Gaming, and something me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Devil's Gambit. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Oh, 1 second, y'all. Okay, we are back. Just wanted to make sure that... Just looks a little odd is all. Okay, anyway. I reached the hospital with ragged breath with weary feet. The trip from the town to the Duke's mansion and back isn't as easy as I remember. A gray-maned lion mans the reception. When I show him the badge, he looks at my heaving body with sympathy before producing a massive worn-out book and dropping it on the desk with a slam. God, please let this be my last startle of the day. The lion explains what is expected of me. The hospital hosts the patients in the dirty and the direst conditions, while those who can move are sent back home, where they receive care from their assigned doctor. I must do 6 hours worth of work a day. 2 must be on duty in the hospital, while for the rest I can be assigned to a resident instead. I can choose to do more for a bigger salary, too. When asked about the schedule, the lion says it changes regularly. It's always on display at the reception, so it's my responsibility to check it every day. I rather care for those at their home. The lion opens the book, a record of patients, and looks through it as he writes my name in 4 entries. Finally, he grabs a map of Renai, circling some locations and adding a name next to each before handing it to me. Try not to lose that. To finish up, I'll give you a quick tour of the hospital. It's mostly so you know where everything is and are familiar with the equipment. Alright, that sounds like a good idea. Paulo, cover me for a moment. Dusk is falling over Renai by the time I get out of the hospital. A wolf in dark clothes walks around, checking the lamps and refilling them with oil as needed. Everyone else is heading home or to a tavern for dinner. Arwell's nest is more alive than ever. The bustling of dozens of drunken wolves shake the building. The dragon's smile makes me feel better when I sit at the bar. Rough first day, friend? No, aside from a lot of walking. I'm still tired from the trip, I think. Did Cadgan come by? Wait. Cadgan. I think I'm getting some names mixed up here, y'all. Oh, no. I'm right. Okay. I was getting the two characters mixed up. Okay. Didn't see him. Do you need him for anything? No. Are you hungry? Arwell gets me a piece of bread, meat, and a bit of fruit. Thank you very much. When did you settle here, Arwell? I'm not doing an accent for Arwell. More or less 5 years ago. Mine was a family of merchants. We ran away from our home when we learned that a rebellion was approaching. All the way to Renai? Oh no, they stayed in nearby country. I split off and kept going east. While Arwell was talking, I ripped the bread in 2 pieces and put what fruit and meat remained between them. It's such a tight fit that I had to figure out how to hold the makeshift sandwich so it doesn't fall apart. So you know, water time. Ooh, that's good. Okay. I always wanted to travel, you see. See new places, meet new people, learn new tongues. I also enjoy being the tallest person in the room. Ha! But eventually I arrived here and fell in love with the town, so I settled down. It's a great town. It's a shame I didn't have the chance to visit again until now. Then you took the job because you wanted to see Cadgan again. I'm about to take a bite from my sandwich when that last sentence causes me to tense up. The fruit and meat slip out from the front, hitting me in the chin before falling to the plate with a plop. Where did that come from? Sorry, but you looked so happy when he was around. I figured he was your favorite part of the town. Ha! He isn't saying anything strange, Hector. He's just fooling around. I still consider him my best friend, so yes, I missed him. I've heard Cadgan used to be different. Definitely. To think he became a peacekeeper. He always disobeyed the adults. He used to throw rocks at the windows, put bugs in people's shoes, toss a bag's worth of salt into the food. Tell creepy stories. He had no shortage of those. What a gutsy child, and you befriended him. Thinking back, maybe he let me get close because he was lonely. Some nights I'd sneak out to go to his room. We'd sit together in bed and read a book until he fell asleep. The only problem was that he wouldn't want me to leave the next morning. Aha! But see, Cadgan wasn't just a menace. He was a pretty smart boy, too. I suppose he just mellowed out with age. Very true, though I'm surprised to hear he was so energetic. Why? It says that you mentioned he was one of your father's patients. I figured he was sick when you were around. I suppose not. He was, but it wasn't the kind of disease that had him debilitated the entire time. Dad didn't like to admit it, but we never really understood what was wrong with him. He just got better one day. It could be we weren't meant to understand it, and that Cadgan had fallen ill for a reason other than suffering from an imbalance. The circumstances had been too perfect. Had it happened a year earlier or later, I wouldn't have been with Dad, and I wouldn't have set foot in Renai. Dad kept bringing me after the first time because he realized Cadgan trusted me. He needed me here to do his job, so the timing had been crucial. As though God planned our encounter, willed it. That is what I believe to this day. I wonder if His Grace Manoel wouldn't have a clue. Do you think so? If he can't identify that mysterious disease, then nobody can. I immediately recall the mask and that furious glare. As much as the Duke intimidates me, Arwell's onto something. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to ask him the next time I see him. As much as I'm satisfied with my answer, Dad would have liked to know the truth, if there is any. After finishing dinner, I wish the dragon a good night and go upstairs. Tired as I am and with a full belly, the wolves' voices don't keep the dreams away for long. Look at him. Okay. I was hoping to run into Cadgan again today. We should read a book together sometime. We're not kids anymore, but I still like to fall asleep next to him like in old times. I wish he was here now. New journal entries have been unlocked. Act 5, Act 1, Chapter 5. Leopoldinol. Where did I unlock in the journal exactly? Oh, Manoel, the current Duke of Renai and a famous inventor and scholar in the field of medicine. He specializes in surgery and research. He also looks down on other disciplines. Typical. He's extremely prideful and annoying, to be honest. He wants to finish Karina's work and uncover the secrets of the fifth layer, reason, and thinks the Eye Valley holds the answers to its secrets. I can only wonder what gave him this idea. Anything else? Oh, the 5 layers. The hypothesis proposed in a journal of the same name by the primordial alchemist Karina in the year 162. Karina's life was one full of discoveries. She was the first one to notice the medicinal uses of prismillium and to decipher the crystal's life force readings. Eventually, she discovered life force and sapient beings follow certain patterns, which led to her coining the aforementioned layers: reason, nerves, bones, flesh, and skin. Unfortunately, she passed away before she can complete her research. But who doesn't? Okay. Watching Cadgan, I came to understand what Dad had once said about bad influences. I didn't get why I would let myself get dragged into trouble, but I was too naive. What he meant was that I would want it. Breaking the rules felt good. Liberating. Sometimes when we were out in the forest, Cadgan would look off in some direction, away from the mansion for a long time, as though weighing his options. But where would a child run off to? The Duke controlled the town. Deeper into the forest was certain death, and the guards would easily capture him in the fields. Instead of running, he made trouble for the guards. Guards, servants, and anyone near enough to catch on fire. Anyone near enough to catch on fire. Jesus! But Leopoldno didn't care about broken windows, missing jewelry, or shiny things the wolf touched without permission. The Duke displayed his riches to inspire respect, the kind that reminds you of your position in life. For a short while, Cadgan looked to me like a pitiful, powerless child, but that changed one day when Leopoldno got him to join us for breakfast. Spiteful as he was, Cadgan used this as a chance to embarrass the Duke by breaking all table manners. A disdainful look exhausted the lion's patience, and he slapped the wolf. Cadgan grinned then. He hunched over, holding his cheek in pain, but grinned nonetheless. And it tore into the Duke, hurting him inscrutably. I don't know why, but it felt like some kind of justice. As an adult, I can look back, knowing how tyrannical Leopoldno was. A child standing up to him and hitting him in the place that hurt was no small thing. Even after he sent Cadgan back to his room, we weren't hungry anymore, as though we were afraid the overflowing venom between the two had contaminated the food. When I checked on Cadgan later and told him this, he laughed, then laughed some more at my aghast expression. But whenever Cadgan woke up after going unconscious, it was as though his illness had robbed him of all energy. Dad called it cyclical lethargy. Rather than resuming his usual antics, the wolf stayed in his room and only came out much later, either for a walk or dinner. Even in front of the Duke, he just lowered his head and remained silent. I was accompanying him on one of his walks through the hallways when I commented he looked tired. I feel fine. I think you're imagining it. We've checked you with prismillium a bunch of times, and yes, you seem perfectly fine after you wake up, but it's so unlike you to just sit in your room not making any trouble. Give me some credit. Then again, you seem to like trouble, so maybe you like to know that I commit a little mischief at night. Oh? Every night I take a book to my room and read it. It's not allowed to touch the bookshelves without permission, but as long as you return it, no one has to know. You should join me on one of these nights, Hector. It'd be fun. I'll even let you pick what you want to read. By which he meant I had to steal the book myself. A few nights later, I was watching Dad snore from my bed, trying to gather the courage to get up. What if I made too much noise and woke him up? What if he woke up in the middle of the night and didn't find me? But then I recalled Cadgan holding his cheek, him grinning, and the venom. I couldn't tell if it was envy or admiration that ultimately encouraged me to sneak out and head to his room, making a brief detour to visit the bookshelf I had picked that morning. What did you bring tonight, Hector? A book on herbalism. You mentioned you'd like to know what Dad is doing to you, so... Come on, let's see. We sat shoulder to shoulder on the bed, Cadgan holding the book, sharing warmth and soft fur. Oh, gold root. This is the one you make into tea when you have a stomachache, right? It says it can treat heart and stomach diseases and in some species boost fertility. However, its most common use is easing the symptoms of diarrhea. Pretty impressive for a home remedy. Many home remedies are like less refined versions of elixirs. What's the difference? That you mix it with more stuff? Not quite. Illness is the manifestation of an imbalance in your life force, the magic in your body. For example, let's say you get a fever. A good herbalist will first check you with a prismalium crystal to see what's wrong. Most of the time, a fire fruit elixir will help address the imbalance. Maybe mix with some moon glow to lower your body temperature until you get better. Although a worse herbalist will give you just the moon glow. But can't the fire fruit also make you sick to the stomach? That's why you brew an elixir rather than just feeding the patient the raw ingredients. Animals and plants possess magic too. That's why they can be poison, sickness, or medicine. Brewing filters out the harmful parts while bringing out the healing ones. But it's a pretty complicated process. You wouldn't brew an elixir for a badger the same way you would for a wolf. It also depends on the layers you want to affect. Before the Duke employed us, we were on a trip across neighboring countries so I could get first-hand experience treating and brewing elixirs for other species. Dad certainly didn't plan for me to get this much practice on wolves. Which species do you think these recipes are for? Badgers, I think. I wonder if someone from my country wrote it. See, that's why God blessed us with such good noses, so we'd be unmatched herbalists. Like with the nuts. I shift, putting my chin on the wolf's shoulders. He was looking somewhere far away now. What's on your mind? Oh. Excuse me. What you said about plants having magic reminded me of the Eye Valley. That's another one of Renai's legends, isn't it? Not a legend. The Eye Valley still exists beyond the forest, though no one goes there because it's too dangerous. But they say that there are things in the soil near it that change the vegetation here. Dad was complaining once that the ingredients we got from the forest were too strong. That's because of the Eye Valley? I yawned and nuzzled up to his chest. What's wrong? It's so early. I'm getting comfortable. Cadgan shifted and wrapped an arm around me before he continued reading. Every once in a while he'd ask me something, I'd mumble a reply. While not tired, I was sleepy. The sleepiness felt when sitting by a campfire in the dark, with licking flames capturing my gaze and warmth cradling my trembling body. It probably was around midnight when Cadgan yawned, put the book down on the nightstand and extinguished the lamp's fire. We lay down together, his hand on mine, and we drifted off. New journal entries have been added. Act 1, Chapter 6. Ignorant Man. That damn ignorant man. Hippolno. Former Duke Minol's father, the people of Renai despised him, but he had a good reputation outside of his colonies. This was due to his research on magical constructs, which recently led to an agricultural revolution. I think he's been dead for a year. Cyclical lethargy. A condition that afflicted Cadgan when he was a child. Dad called it this because it would make him unconscious for a few hours at almost the same time every day. During this period of unconsciousness, Cadgan's life force would run rampant inside his body from one of the inner layers. Although it didn't hurt him, after waking up, Cadgan would look tired for the rest of the day. At least he did to me. His hand on mine as we lay down. His grip tightens. He raises his arms above his head and brings them down. He splits the log clean in half, though I only see the moment both halves fall off the stump. I'm sitting behind Cadgan, watching him, taking all of him in. From hands to shoulders, every crease of his gray back, his tail poking out of the hole under his belt. Damn! Yikes! Huh. Oh boy. I'm in trouble. Alright. The wolf looks back at me and talks, but I take a while to remember what words are and how to speak. I'm sorry, what did you say? Got your head in the clouds? I was just thinking about work. What a coincidence. I said, how did the meeting with the Duke go? It was going well until the end. Somehow I set him off. I hated your warning, of course. Or rather, he became angry before I could reply. You still have your head and everything else in place, so it couldn't have been that bad. Maybe I stared at his mask, but I didn't mean to. It just baffled me. What did? Cadgan turns to face me, his naked chest and shoulders in full display. They expand and contract with every breath, luring my eyes in further. My hands move themselves to my lap. Not only did he mention the demons of Renai, he said they still exist. I should have mentioned that, but I figured you were used to everybody here going demons this or demons that. From the townsfolk, but not from the Duke. What do you think? Could they still be around? The past is the past. Nothing you say can change that, even if you're a noble. His words sting me, and the cold from yesterday rears its head. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Tresem Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our Not Safe for Work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!